Hey everybody, Trucker Nurse One here. Welcome. Very productive day. I'm tired actually, to be honest with you, but a good day. So, welcome everybody to the live stream. We're going to be talking about the volcano, and I got a Taal, over in the Philippines. We're going to talk about that. I got some information written down so I wouldn't forget. And so we're going to go over that a little bit today. But before we start, we're going to go over a couple other things too, of course, because we're not going to talk for an hour about the volcano. And we get sidetracked very, very easily because that's kind of how I am. So anyway, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. So please be decent in the chat. No nastiness, no racism. Please be kind to each other as well. And of course, to your host, you don't want to be nasty to me, right? So, like some people do. But anyway, I would just ask everybody to please be decent and let's just keep it clean. And if you do not, my awesome moderators will boot you out of here. So, please be decent. So, all right. So let's get into, first of all, ended up only with 7 eggs. Only 7. But I got 7 eggs today. So the chickens didn't lay anymore, which the weather's going to turn colder again, so we're going to go back down to a lot less eggs. I know that, but that's okay. That it's that time of year, and it's what they do. So, all right. So let's actually get into this topic. Okay. One thing that I did not find was what the volume of ash was, but there's several different things that we're going to talk about with the ash. It kind of gives you an idea, but I was really looking for the exact volume of ash that's already come out, and I was looking that for a specific reason, but I could not find that. Okay, so what we're going to talk about first is, I guess as of right now, 38,000 people have fled the area. So what I want to talk about first, you're talking about there are 459,000 people with inside a 14-kilometer radius of the volcano, or 8.7 miles, okay? And there's more than 930,000 people within 17 kilometers of the volcano, which they consider the danger zone. So you have this volcano that started erupting 4 days ago, okay? And on Tuesday alone, okay, they were monitoring the volcano, and there was over 50 earthquakes within an 8-hour period, which indicates that the magma is rising. Okay, so now this is not a huge earthquake or a volcano in comparison to some of the other volcanoes that we've had, but it's a good size volcano. Okay, they were saying that the initial ash plume that went up into the air went up 15 kilometers into the sky. So I want you to think about that for a second. 0.6 miles for every kilometer. So you're still talking, about 9 miles, I think, into the sky with that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, about 9 miles into the sky that ash and smoke went up that high. The airport in the Malaya International Airport was over 500 international and domestic flights were delayed, affecting over 80,000 people because, and if you guys don't know, I'll tell you, ash does not do well with airplane engines. It will clog them up and kill them, and planes will crash. So they have to either wait till they can see, or the wind changes or whatever, before they can fly. So it's like when Mount St. Helens went back in like 1980, there was airplanes up in the sky that had to get out of that area because it was really messing with the engines of the planes. So not good at all. Okay, but the volcanology institute there in the Philippines wants everybody to be evacuated within the danger zone, which is the 17 kilometers, which is about 1 million people. So almost 1 million people, 930,000 people live within that radius. So that's pretty scary, okay? Now, a lot of people that live near the volcano have gone back to tend animals and stuff like that and take care of their animals. And they really want people to stay away for at least 2 weeks is what they're talking right now. Now, right now, the 38,000 people are in over 200 different evacuation centers. Now think about logistically that many people in that many different places, and that's just not fun at all for those people. Now with the ash, guys, you got to remember something. Volcanic ash is literally ground up glass, is what it is. It's small particles of glass. Well, if you breathe that in, too much of that in, you're going to basically drown in your own, because it's going to get into your lungs and it's going to rip everything apart, and you drown in your own fluids is what ends up happening. So it's a really, really a scary situation. And they've had quite a bit of ash already from the volcano. And that hasn't even really technically erupted yet. Okay, it's just like the waking up stages. They have it as a Category 4 right now, which means that it's a high possibility that it will erupt. Category 5 is the worst, meaning that it's gonna, right now they're saying anywhere from hours to days that it could erupt. They don't know for sure. It's the science of it is not 100% accurate, but 5 is the worst. Okay, but I want you to think about this too. So all these people have evacuated. And a lot of these people had to leave their animals behind because they can't take their animals with them to evacuation centers. So I know myself, if we ever had to evacuate out of here for whatever reason, I would have a real hard time leaving my cats, dogs, and even the chickens behind. I mean, those animals depend on you to take care of them. And it would be very, very difficult to do that. Did you get the link? I tagged you in. The governor calling a state of emergency for the Capitol. No weapons. Yeah, we're going to address that. White family homestead. I'm going to talk about that too in a little while. But I wanted to really get into the volcano first. But we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about the whole game of all of the whole thing. Okay. But yeah, we will get into that. I promise. But anyway, let's see. What else did I want to tell you guys? But like I said, it's you've had this ash cloud, and it has now. Manila is 40 miles away. Hey, Mountain Girl, to one of my favorite preppers, thank you for sharing with us. Thank you very much. I appreciate the donation. Thank you so much. Manila is over 40 miles away from the volcano, and they got ash from that initial plume that went up. So that's kind of, if you think about that, even like a light dusting of ash is kind of scary. But what I want people to think about, the amount of ash and smoke and stuff like that has gone up into the upper atmosphere from that. You got a cloud that went up 9 miles into the air. Okay. That stuff's got to go someplace. And that definitely affects sunlight and everything else. So those type of things absolutely affect everything. And if it's not guaranteed that it's going to, but when it totally erupts, okay, if that happens, because it could just kind of gurgle for a while and then die back down. But if it totally erupts, which they believe that it will, think about how much more stuff is going to be put up into the atmosphere. I remember, Mount St. Helens. I was a 15-year-old kid when Mount St. Helens went in 1980. And, do you need a horse trailer and crates for? Oh yeah, right. Need a horse trailer and crates for the critters. Yeah. Well, now if you had to take them with you, nest prepper, where are you taking them to? They're not going to let you take those animals into a shelter. So if you had to, get out of that area, you better have other places that you can take those animals to, or So that's something that I absolutely think about and plan for, because I would load up all my animals in a car. That's what not the chickens, but they would have to be crated in some way or form. But the rest of them, well, I'd probably have to crate the cats, because the dogs and the cats in the car at the same time probably would not go well. Something to think about, though. But anyway, the amount of ash and stuff going up there, and well, with Mount St. Helen, I remember that one like it was yesterday, and that affected the temperature in the U.S. that year. It really did, and I'll never forget that, because was that the year? I think it was. They had snow in June, something like that. I can't remember. Like up in Maine, they had snow in June, but it because of so much stuff went up. The ash and the smoke went up into the upper atmosphere. It affected everything. They had to redo things for the cars. so they could actually drive the cars because it was clogging everything up. It was bad. It was bad. But I remember that, and it's like, these volcanoes. You got to remember the Ring of Fire. There's this one, and then there's two other volcanoes right now that are waking up, and so there's a lot to that, and it's going to affect the weather. It's going to affect things. It's obviously going to affect the people locally there, and it's going to affect their animals. If they can't, get out there to take care of their animals, those animals are just. So if they have a 2-week evacuation, let's say, okay, it's 2 weeks. They say the danger's over. Go ahead, you can go home. Well, now all these people that are surviving by doing agriculture, by having their animals, and their animals are probably going to be dead in 2 weeks without somebody taking care of them. Okay, that's the reality. You don't feed and water those animals are going to die. Your crops are going to be in bad shape because you haven't been able to be there to take care of them properly the way that you should as well. So it's a very lose-lose situation for a lot of those people that are affected in that region. And again, people are going to say, well, then why do you live in an area right close to a volcano? Because that soil is really, really conducive to really great growing, and that's why people live there. And so, 89 Norfolk got a blizzard and remember had to actually dig out the front door. You know what? I can remember some pretty high storms, snowstorms here where we looked, and it was, I guess, when 1966, my mom told me, call to ready, just paying it forward. Thank you very much. I appreciate that donation. Thank you so much. I remember my mom saying that winter in 1966, that the snow was higher than the clotheslines. Remember the days when actually people used clotheslines and dried their clothes outside? The snow was higher than that in the backyard. So that was pretty high. Obviously, I don't remember because I was one. So, but so yeah, that was, no, actually I wouldn't even been one because I was born in June. So anyway, but over that winter, that's when that happened. But there's been some pretty good storms up here since I've been alive. We've seen some pretty amazing storms, but I'll tell you what, it's like the choice of living near that volcano, which can destroy your whole world and everything that you have, or living in this region where we realistically, we deal with winter. Winter sucks up here. There's no getting around it. There's no sugarcoating it. It's not the best place to be when it's cold and miserable outside. But we don't really have to worry about our houses being blown away. We don't have to worry about a lot of flooding. We don't have to worry about a lot of those things that a lot of other people in other parts of the country have to deal with. If there's a hurricane, by the time it gets as far into us, it's beat down so much that it's not really that bad at all. So, but what do we got here? I still use clotheslines. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm going to tell you what. It's I absolutely would do that here. I have no problem with using a clothesline. I have the clothespins and I got the line. I can put that up anytime. Blizzard of 78 was really bad. Neighbors had to shovel us out so we could not open our front door. Carlene, if you're talking, well, the blizzard, I think it was 77 in Buffalo, New York. I was actually there in Buffalo, New York for that blizzard. That one was an interesting blizzard. It was wild. The trees were down into houses. There was no power. It was crazy. It was really cool as a kid, because it's like, woohoo, no school, but that was a wild storm to see. So I remember that when Yellowgate was yesterday. So let's see. So anyway, I did want to address, let's talk about this for a minute since we're at this point. Guys, if you haven't shot a thumbs up yet, I would appreciate if you would do that. I see we're over 400 in the chat. So if you haven't done a thumbs up yet, please do so. So we're going to talk about the situation really quickly down in Virginia. Okay, so the latest thing is the governor is going to declare a temporary state of emergency. So no weapons can be down on the grounds because they're saying, and I don't know if there's any truth to it or if this has been made up to be able to do this. They're saying that there were threats that people were going to storm the Capitol with their weapons. Okay. So they're basically, saying that, we're not going to allow people to have weapons on Capitol grounds. And so I think they're scared. to be honest with you. I don't believe that threat was made. I really don't, but it could have been. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. But, you know, I want you guys to remember what's going on in Virginia. Again, I believe it's another one of those false flag distraction type of things. I think it's fantastic that people are standing up for their rights. I absolutely think that that's fantastic. I think it's great that the American people are finally saying enough is enough with draconian gun laws. I think that that's awesome as well. Again, all these gun laws do not help the law-abiding citizen. They're not designed to help the law-abiding citizen. What they're designed to do is to disarm us so that we can be victims. And, you look at through the history of what's gone on. You look at Nazi Germany. They disarmed people, and then they went in there and they did whatever they want because people could not defend themselves. Okay? These people in the government that want to disarm us, they have armed guards. They have people protecting them all the time. They live in gated communities or mansions with security. The rest of us, normal human beings in this country, we have to live day to day. We don't have that luxury of that type of protection. Okay, so I think it's very, very important that we're, because of what the Constitution says, that we are allowed to protect ourselves. There is no, these weapons weren't invented back when the Constitution or the Second Amendment was written. No, things advance. Absolutely, they advance, but we still have that right to protect ourselves. And there's example after example after example, and I can go to the Texas church shooting is a fantastic example. And then you get these idiot politicians, and I won't say who they were, saying that, they wouldn't have felt safe in a church if somebody was armed. Well, they're a moron is what they are, because they're in that church, whatever church they go to, and they have their armed security there. But is that okay? Come on. There's that double standard. It's BS. That's a great example of a good guy taking out a bad guy with a gun. Bad people are always going to find a way. They don't have to use a gun. They can use a knife, a hammer. They can use fertilizer, as McVeigh did with the Oklahoma City bombing. Evil will find a way to do evil acts. So when you disarm the average American civilian, all right, that's what their goal is. And I don't understand that at all, because unless it's about control, complete control, they don't. So my question would be this: if they are so determined and bent on disarming us, what do they have in store that they want to do to us that we would stop them if we had weapons? That would be a question that I would ask, so they can't stop us from being on the sidewalk. It's public property. You're right. No, absolutely, you're right. Guns are banned in London. Yeah, I know, Joe. You guys overseas in the UK, they're even trying to ban knives, and certain size knives you're not even allowed to have now, because once they got rid of the guns, the knife stabbing deaths went up through the roof. And I heard the incident also where one of the drop centers for knives was stolen, which I kind of thought was kind of funny. But no, it's just, it's sad that they're doing that, because then the only people, because here's the thing, guys, and this is 100% honest, 100% truthful. When you disarm the public, the only people that are going to have weapons at that point are the criminals and the police. Okay. Now, there's a lot of great police officers out there. A lot of them. The majority of them are good people. Okay. But there's the bad ones as well. And criminals do not care about gun laws. They never have. They never will. There's always a way to get whatever you want to get. And I've used this example before, okay? And I've said this. Right now, tonight, if I had the money and I went to Rochester, New York, and I made the right connections with the right people, I can get anything that I want. Anything that I want, okay? And from a submachine gun to, AK-47 to whatever the case may be, pistols, whatever I want. As long as I have the money, I can get whatever I want, okay? Now, when you acquire something like that, Is there a body attached to it? You don't know. So that's kind of the scary part about doing something like that. But again, people will always find a way. There's always going to be the black market, no matter what they put in, as far as laws go. Nancy Pelosi used 100 special pens to sign the impeachment. And it's so funny. She delayed and delayed and delayed sending that to the Senate. It's going to get squashed in the Senate in a heartbeat and thrown out, and that's going to be the end of that nonsense. Again, distraction. What else is going on? What else they got going on? Always, that's my big thing. Pay attention. So right now, what's in the forefront? The impeachment's in the forefront, right? That's a big thing right now. The whole thing with Iran, that's in the whole forefront right now. Everybody's all concerned about that. They're concerned about the impeachment, and they're concerned about Virginia. All right, those are the main three things right now. And now the whole trade thing with China is, the phase 1 went in, so that's part of that, and that's in the news too. But all these things are distractions, because if the media is pushing these things, this is what they want you to pay attention to. Okay, they don't want you to pay attention to the real issues. Something else is going on. That's what I would be watching. That's what I would be looking for. What else is going on? So, nice shirt. Well, thank you. Yep, USA. So, but it's warm. It's warm in the house. I got the window wide open here. And then when I have this light on over here, this thing is like a heat lamp. So, it gets warm in here. So, let's see. UN looking to hire people for gun control. Now, I've heard that, Wolf Pup. I've heard that. And I've seen no validity to that. I think that that's BS, to be honest with you. I'm going to tell you right now, all right, and this is an honest assessment from my part, and this is strictly my opinion. If they ever did that and they hired people to go and disarm people, you're going to have a war. You're going to have a civil war, because people are not going to do it. They're not going to do it. People have had enough. I literally believe that we are at the breaking point. And if these politicians keep pushing too much, people, just like what's going on in Virginia, okay, those politicians are scared to death, because people are coming down there in droves. They're getting ready for this rally, and they're saying no more. And you know what? I honestly believe that the rally will be peaceful unless they implant some people in there to try to stir stuff up. That is an absolute possibility that could happen. But I'm going to tell you what, most gun owners, they mind their own business. They take care of they're tax paying. They go to work every day. They mind their own business. They're taking care of their families. So, that's just, that's how that goes. People are going to think whatever, there's an agenda. And when you're dealing with an agenda, you got to watch what's being presented. And that's what I would pay attention to. I won't be at the rally. I'll tell you that right now. I think that there's an opportunity for some really bad things to happen if the right plants are put into the crowd. Somebody starts firing. I mean, that could turn ugly really, really quickly. And then they could say, "See, look at these horrible gun owners." They could do it themselves. So, I mean, it's interesting. Colorado legislature is having a closed meeting with DHS. Come and look at them. Come and took them away in buses. Huh. Okay. Well, there's a lot going on. But I think things could go really, really bad. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on. But like I said, you just got to pay attention. Watch the distraction. Pay attention to the distraction too, because that's still there. But look and see what else is going on at the same time. Virginia is a guinea pig for the other states to see what the outcome will be. Yeah, like I said, it's definitely a big game, and they're pushing to see how much they can get away with. And I think that, like I said, people in Virginia have said enough is enough. In the news, it was posted, someone took a picture of what took down the plane before it went down. You're talking about the plane in Iran? I think you're talking about the plane in Iran. Well, they admitted that they accidentally shot that plane down. What it realistically was, they thought we were coming in to bomb them. And so that's why they shot that plane down. So that's why that happened. But then they killed all those people, unfortunately. Do I think all the earthquakes happening will set off the Cascadia? That's hard to say. There's so many things. There's so many things going on with the Earth right now that it like I said, the Ring of Fire is waking up, and that's proven. I mean, all these earthquakes, that have been dormant, they're coming to life again. Now, obviously, there's still active volcanoes around the Ring of Fire. The plate shifts and everything like that affects everything, but there's a lot of very strange things, a lot of strange weather anomalies, a lot of strange things going on. If you look at again, okay, so let's look at Australia for a second, and look at the fires. Okay, you have a situation over there where now they're blaming climate change, of course, but we're not going to talk about what I think it's like almost 200 people that have been arrested for starting those fires, but we'll blame climate change on that. But what I think is also very interesting, the area where most of those fires are happening, if you look at it, that's the same exact area where they want to put in a high-speed railway. Isn't that amazing how that same type of thing happened in Australia, that happened in California, in the same type of area where all those fires were happening? There's no coincidences with things, guys. Things are done on purpose. Yeah, over 250 arson cases now. Okay, yep, Pete just said. I did not feel any of the earthquakes that were up in Canada. I didn't feel them down here at all, no. But here's the thing is, what a lot of people don't understand about New York, we're on an ancient fault line. So we could have an earthquake up here. And, people are not building houses in this area or to withstand earthquakes. We don't, because that's not what we do here, So that's something that would be devastating if it happened here. Direct energy weapons, somebody said. Yep, I believe that. I absolutely believe that. Let's see. Oh, and somebody's saying that Virginia's not the main thing. It's Antifa and MS-13 too. There's a lot of really bad characters out there, guys. There's a lot of bad characters. So, you just when the whole thing happened, when we killed the general, okay, and I was on vacation, and they were talking that Iran was going to retaliate. And I had a lot of people say, oh, you need to get home right away. And I had other options. I'll just put it like that I could have done where I was. But you have to remember, all these things, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Doesn't matter how much or whatever. And so some people had contacted me, and they were asking, what should we do? And my answer is always a very honest answer. Continue to prep. Because we don't know. We can't say, oh my gosh, because this is happening, this is going to happen. We can't say that because we don't know. But what we do know is, if we continue to prep, we continue to get ready, when something does happen, and I believe it's a matter of when, not if, okay? And I won't speculate to what that when will be, what it's going to be. I have no idea, because it could be several different things, okay? The financial situation in this country is atrocious. We just crossed, I think, $22 trillion in debt. And here's the thing with that. This is what kills me. We give away billions and billions and billions to other countries around the world, but we're in debt. That makes no sense to me. Let's take care of our own. And I'm a big proponent of that, so that's just, that's part of the thing. So anyway, what was I going to tell you guys? I was going to tell you something else too. But anyway, like I said, don't do things out of fear. Okay, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and we have no control over that. All we can do is have some control of our own actions of what we're going to do after this type of event happens. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. And I just believe, just continue to get ready. And when the time comes, we act, we don't react. And I think that's important. I would cut aid to all foreign countries. Oh, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. There's a huge caldera under the New England area. They're saying that that's coming up. Yes, I heard about that too, and that would be interesting to see what happens with that. But you never know. You never. Like I said, that. But they're saying that could be a long, long time before that pops up. The Earth is always changing. The planet, the way you look at the globe now, and you see how all the different countries are, they weren't always that way. They were different at different points in times. Guys, if we don't got like 500 people in the chat, we're at 210 on the thumbs up. If you haven't shot a thumbs up yet, I would appreciate if you would do that, please. Let's see. We are still missing 21 trillion. Well, yeah, that's that whole thing, back there with 9/11. Yeah, that was interesting. Because Rumsfeld, if you guys remember, the day before 9/11 came out and said I think it was 2.1 trillion, or maybe it was 21 trillion. I don't know. It was a lot of money was missing. And they had all these documents and they were going to go over everything. And lo and behold, so many of those documents were down at the World Trade Center, or they were in that spot at the Pentagon that got, a missile attack. I mean, hit by an airplane. Yeah. But all of a sudden, boom, nobody talked about that missing money anymore. We were focused on those evil, evil bad guys, the guy in the cave running the whole show. So, yeah, I believe that. So, Social Security scam all over the U.S. now, another false flag. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on with that type. Guys, I'll tell you what, I get phone calls every day with nonsense. Just complete nonsense. And so thank goodness on my phone I have the capability of, when one of those numbers comes in, I can block them. Otto Poshner, I think you're saying that if they banned all firearms nationwide, turn them in or be jailed, would you surrender your firearms? Thanks for all you do. I take care. Well, I have that standard answer that I tell people all the time. I don't have firearms. That's my standard answer. There's nothing to turn in. So, if they ban things, I'm telling you right now, guys, if they banned everything, you are going to have a lot of people that are now going to be criminals in this country that were not criminals before. That's what I'm going to say about that. Thank you very much for that donation too. But that's kind of where I stand, with that. Yeah, that's what we're not hearing about is the national debt. You're right. They're not hearing that. And it just continues to go up and up all the time. Yeah, LT said, I lost all my firearms. Yeah, I just don't have any. That's my standard answer. But, guys, I'll tell you what, they're never taking away our guns. It's not going to happen. I really don't. We're not Europe. We're not the UK. We're not Australia. We're not New Zealand. Okay. And all you guys that are in those countries, my heart goes out for you. In New Zealand, only 5% of the guns were handed in after the ban. Total failure. You know what? That doesn't surprise me. I saw that whole thing, and but you got to let's remember something, okay? Registration leads to confiscation. Remember that, because that's really important. Because if you have something registered, like handguns have to be registered, right? So if you have something registered and they come around and knock on your door, you better either produce that weapon or you better, explain where it went, because they're not playing like with that if it came down to that point. Okay. So that's, you could have a burglary. Somebody could, report the crime that somebody broke into your house and stole all your weapons. Those things happen, all your registered pistols that you had, and terrible, terrible people in the world. There's a lot of crime, lots and lots of crime. So, that would not be out of the realm of possibility that that could happen to people. So, not saying that you would do that, but I'm just saying that does happen. So, anyway, I'm being sarcastic. So, I'm not telling you what to do. Maybe just planting a seed. So, but anyway, it's just, like I said, I don't ever see them. There's way too many guns in this country. There's too many people that, there's too many veterans that have said, we fought for that right. And they come back and they want to be able to protect themselves. And that's one of the categories of people they want to go after. They want to go after veterans. They don't want you to be able to have weapons because you've been damaged, because you've been in war. You know what I mean? So now you're this target of a person that they say, no, we can't let them have a weapon because, they're a danger to themselves or others. It's crazy. Hitler took away the guns. Yep, Mike Knife, I just talked about that earlier. And as soon as he did that, what happened? More guns in New Zealand than anyone knows, Peter Rouse just said. Oh, I'm sure there's plenty. And people aren't going to give them up. Just because some liberal up there decides to, do some kind of nonsense like they did. I'm going to tell you what, there's still plenty of guns in the UK, too. Guaranteed there are. Now, they might be buried and they might be put away for that rainy day. But I think that's what would happen here. I'm going to tell you what, I'll almost guarantee you right now, with all the red flag laws that are popping up in all these different states in the United States, that there are a lot of people that are putting away guns in different spots and have them stashed away. Guarantee it. Huge caches of ammunition, guaranteed. And they're being put away for that rainy day. And when that day comes, when the laws don't matter anymore, then people are going to be like, oh my God, where did all these freaking people come with all these guns? Because they've been waiting and they've been preparing. It's one of the things. What do preppers do? We prepare. You prepare on all levels to be ready for whatever. And you better be prepared to defend what you have as well. So, do you think Trump will open up about the Second Amendment, Ed? I don't know. Hard to say. I think he's sitting back and watching right now, to be honest with you, a lot of it. I think he's sitting back. Now, there's talk that Trump is anti-gun, and he did make a couple of comments that were not really smart, but, it's hard to say. If he wants to stay in office with the people that put him there, he better stay pro-Second Amendment. So, Jeannie says, honestly, I think Trump is anti-gun. Well, he's come off saying that before, like take the guns and do due process later. I don't like those type of comments. It's just like the whole red flag law. They can come in and take all your stuff, and you got to prove that you're either not crazy or not a threat. And then try to get those guns back, and it costs a freaking fortune, Let's see. We're talking about people with bunkers dug in miles deep in SHD after starving will be the enemy. You know what, Moonlight? I don't disagree with that. There are a lot of bunkers around and a lot of bunkers. I'm going to tell you what. So here we are. We're on YouTube. You guys are watching me with my live stream, right? There are a lot more preppers out there than you think. There are a lot of bunkers all over this country, more than you could even imagine. There is a tremendous amount of food, weapons, water, luxuries, depending on how much your budget is for putting in your bunker. There's a lot of people that are preparing, and a lot of people are not getting out there. I'm out there and I'm in the public with it, okay? And I did that for a reason, because I want to help people. I want people to realize what we need to do and where we need to go and stuff like that. And I'm about helping. Now, does that make me a target? Well, sure it does. And that's why I don't have all my eggs in one basket. I have other options. And like I said, and I've mentioned this many, many times, the last place in a post event that you are going to want to go is to a prepper retreat and think you're going to take people's stuff. And that, and that's not a threat. That's not me making any kind of threats. I'm just saying any preppers out there that are worth their salt are prepared for all contingencies. Okay. They're ready and they're going to do what they need to do. So, let's see. I like this shirt, but is it the land of the free? We got a lot more freedoms than most people. They're trying to continuously take them away. They're eroding those freedoms slowly and surely. And I think they will continue to do that until one of two things happens. Something pops off major in this country where people just say enough. That is a real possibility. And, it would be a different type of civil war at that point. It would basically, if something really, truly bad popped off, you would be looking at people that were ready for that and those that were not ready for that. And the people that are ready for that are going to want to keep what they have. And so that would be a very bad situation. You know, the other things that could be a catalyst to change something like a major war, that could throw a monkey wrench into everything, or a major event like a Yellowstone event. Let's put it like this, guys. You know, and I've talked about Yellowstone many, many times in the past. It's not a matter of if Yellowstone is ever going to go off again. It's a matter of when. And when it does go off, how bad of a event will it be? It has been proven that there have been 3 major volcanic eruptions from Yellowstone. And that's a game changer, not just for the United States, but for the world. So those are things to think about. But I think it's going to be an EMP. I hope it's not an EMP. I'll be honest with you. An EMP would be a really, really devastating, really, really bad thing. It would not be good at all. Guys, if you haven't shot a thumbs up yet, I see we're over 500 people in the chat. If you haven't done that yet, if you would throw a thumbs up there, we're only at 275 on a thumbs up. I kind of wanted, just for fun, to see if we can get that up to around 450. I think we can, because we got, let's see, it's what, 839? So yeah, we could easily get it up there. But so if you haven't done so yet, if you could shoot that thumbs up, I would appreciate that. Okay, so here's another thing, and this is Mike Knife just said this, and I think this is a great point. Killer flu. There is that flu going around right now in China, and they do not know. You know, they're thinking that it's coming from this one seafood market that they closed down, absolutely closed it down. But there's been a lot of people sick. They already had somebody die from it, and now it's starting to spread. So that's a scary scenario. I'm telling you what, with the amount of people that we have in the world, with the international travel that we have in the world, if the right bug gets out there and gets spread around all over the world, you are talking about serious devastation. That could absolutely be something that could be a game changer in this. Huge game changer. Then you're going to see people absolutely isolating themselves, not letting anybody in. And I've talked about that scenario. If you have a group and you guys are healthy and you're well, and so other members of your group get there, you're going to have to put them in isolation for maybe up to 2 weeks to make sure that they're okay, that they're not sick. And then if you do get people that are sick, you're going to have to isolate them. You're going to have an area where they can be tended to and taken care of, and hopefully beat whatever the bug may be. But if there's a major bug that goes around, that can be a game changer. Flu disease is only a plane right now. Yeah, that's right. It's a plane right away, and it'd be that simple, that easy. How fast that could happen? Really fast. Not doing hot tea tonight because I'm already warm. The house was too hot. I'm actually letting the fire burn down. So, but we got our weather's changing too now. So today was the last decent day. And when I say decent day, in the 40s. I think tomorrow's high is going to be 35. Tomorrow night is supposed to go down to like 16, which is normal. That's more of a normal temperature. We got some single digits coming up here too. So we're going to have some cold weather happening here soon back at the homestead. There'll be snow again. I mean, I'll tell you what, with no snow on the ground at this point of the year, I mean, what are we at? Today's the 15th. That's not normal. That's not normal at all. So, but they were saying that the way that the jet streams were, they were predicting that it was going to be a wet winter up here. And so far they've been right. So, but we got cold early. We had snow early. We had a white Christmas up here. Yes, remember you can grow your own medicine, study herbal medicine. And I've talked about that, Peter Ross, a lot. Yes, and I think that's really important. So I think that's really important. So let's, definitely stay on top of that. I want snow for my birthday on the 19th. You might get it. You absolutely might get it. So we had snow here in New Zealand, and it's the middle of summer. Yeah, I know that other side there, it's some snow on our doorstep, but so far very little for what we usually have this time of year. Mountain Girl just said that. Yeah, it's well, we had a lot of snow early, and then like January here has just. I mean, this has been a dream. Believe me, I can remember, and I'll tell you a quick story. I used to live in Charlotte, New York. Okay, right down by the lake, and we had a January where at the airport, which is several miles in, we always got more snow than the airport did because it came off the lake and it dumped on us. But we had that winter. It snowed every single day that January, and at the airport they had 62 inches of snow recorded that winter, and just for January. And so I mean we were way above that. I mean I remember shoveling out. I mean my piles were like huge on the side of the driveway. I was shoveling every day. It was absolutely crazy. So that was nuts. That was absolutely nuts. 55 degrees here in Kentucky. That's not bad. Well, I'll tell you what it is right now. Let me look at this real quick. Of course, all this stuff. Hold on one second. I will tell you. Right now, it's 39. So it's 39 degrees right now here in New York. So it's gonna. I think they're calling for some rain. It might turn into snow overnight. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I remember storms with 33 inches. We've had a few. The worst ones are when it's the ice storms, and then it turns to ice and then snow. Those are the worst ones. But like I said, the region of the country where I am, and I've talked about this in an SHTF situation, I think this is a huge advantage here. Huge advantage. Is my four-wheeler a 4x4? You know what, Mr. Rose? I don't know. I would have to look. I'll have to look at that. I'll have to check that out. I'm not 100% sure. So 35 degrees in Chicagoland. Robert Blakemore saying, yep. 72 in Mobile. Yeah, well, that's nice. Tubular Guy 9. Yeah, rub it in, Tubular Guy 9, and you got it nice and warm down there. Yeah, it's the weird, but the week that we just had temperature wise, it's been unbelievably warm. Like I started out when I was working outside today, I had on my sweatshirt. I had a t-shirt, sweatshirt, and then I had another jacket on, and I had my hat on. I ended up getting rid of the hat, putting on a bandana because I was sweating so bad. Took the jacket off, and I just had the sweatshirt on. So, but oh, yep, it's a 4x4. Okay, somebody else said it's a 4x4. So yeah, my four-wheeler is a 4x4. Now I love that four-wheeler. Four-wheeler is absolutely awesome. So, all right, guys, I'm going to ask again because now we're almost up to 550 of people in here. We're at 344 on thumbs up. I'll tell you, this is my promise to you. We hit 450 on thumbs up. I won't ask again for the rest of the show. All right, so if you haven't shot us a thumbs up yet, if you would do that, that would be awesome. And there's always a couple reasons I have to do that, okay? Do it for fun because I want to see how high we can get it, of course. But then I have to do it because my trolls absolutely hate it when I ask for that thumbs up. They cannot stand it. So I have to do it because of that reason. That's one of the main reasons why I like to do it, just because I know it just gets under their skin. Because who cares, you know? But yeah, let's get that number up there. We're at, 362? So if we get up to 450, I won't ask again, I promise. But then I'll want you to try to get it to 500. So anyway, a 4-foot plow would help you do much work. Oh, I'm sure. No, I know it will. I do plan on doing something, as far as that goes. Warm weather in the winter is not normal, at least in my opinion. No, it's absolutely not. And we still have plenty of time. I mean, the rest of January could end up being really cold. February is usually miserable up here, I'll be honest with you. So it usually gets pretty cold in February up here. And how big is your compost pile? It's not that big, the one that I have. I basically have 4 pallets, and we feed stuff into that compost pile there. So I'll probably end up moving that because it's like that's where I'm going to put my woodshed. So that's all going to get moved when that time comes. So, but that's the game plan for that. Now, there's plenty of stuff to do. There's absolutely plenty of stuff to do. 2 must-have books: Stephen Bruner, Herbal Antibiotics and Prepping for the Pandemic by Kat Ellis. Well, thank you for those recommendations, Voodoo Queen. Um, yeah, there's definitely, and I've talked about that, guys. Knowledge is power. Okay, so the more books that you have with information that can help you, especially in a post event, because we got to remember, if a truly bad event happens, okay, the internet's not going to be there. Or you look at what, like, if there is unrest and people are upset, the government's going to flip that switch and kill the internet just like that, just like they did in Iran. And if you don't think that couldn't happen here, it could happen here in a heartbeat. Okay. They also killed phone communications, is what they did in Iran as well. So people could not communicate with each other. They would do that here as well. Because think about it. What's going to happen? If something's going down, you're going to call in those buddies and those friends of yours and be like, come on, let's get together. Let's get ready. So making sure that you have those plans in place ahead of time, where people know where to go, where they know where a staging area is, so that your family members can all get there, and then you go to your bug out location or your bug out retreat, and go to where you know you're going to be safe. Have those things all in play ahead of time, because I'll tell you what, your kids need to know, anybody in your family, anybody in your group, they need to know this or this happens, it's time to get out of Dodge or time to bug in, either way. But you need to get to that safe location as quickly as possible at that point. Make plans with the family now. Yep, where to meet, etc. Exactly, Janie. Exactly. Very important. February and March can be a killer with snowstorms. Yeah, March we usually get hit pretty hard in March. March usually gives us a pretty good wallop. So that absolutely happens. Diapers and politicians need to be changed for the same reason. Exactly. And that's another thing, guys, I would recommend. I don't care if you have children or not have children. Cloth diapers. Get plenty of them, because they can be used for many different purposes. But the main purpose is, even after an event, people are still going to have children. So have the diaper pins. Have plenty of those. Have those cloth diapers. Very, very good to have. And, I'll tell you what, think about this. It's wintertime, you're cold, it's horrible, you're freezing. Take a cloth diaper, layer up, put it underneath your clothes as an added layer of protection. Sounds silly, but I'll tell you what, it'll work. It would absolutely work. So we'll have to get together this year. Yeah, well, I'm telling you guys right now, I will be doing the prepper get together this year again. We're going to be doing it in July. I just got to get to the park and make my reservation. I can actually probably do that over the next couple days. When I do that, I will absolutely let you guys know what the date is, when we're going to have the prepper get together this year, so that way everybody has ample time to prepare. If you want to come, because last year when we did it, it was quick. I mean, it was like 6 weeks. I did it 6 weeks out, so that didn't give a whole lot of notice for people. But this year, we'll try to make sure we have plenty of notice for everybody. So, all right, we're at 382 on the thumbs up, guys, with over 500 people in the chat. Again, if you haven't done it yet, because we're running closer to the end of the time here, if you would shoot that thumbs up, I would appreciate it. I want to see if we can hit 450 before we jump off of here. Do you have long-range comms or a comms plan? I do have some comms. I don't really have super long-range comms, but I definitely do have comms, and I definitely want to add to that. I want to make that better down the road. So that's there's game plans. Trust me, I do have game plans, and I have things that I plan on doing. And Peter Rouse says, yes, I have a drone with night vision. That's really smart. I think having a drone is a really, really good thing to have. Just because you can stay in one area, you put that drone up and you can kind of get that 360 view of what's going on around you for a decent way out. Depending on what kind of drone you have and the battery life of that drone, you can get out there a couple miles if you wanted to. And smart thing to have, really, really smart thing to have. I do not have one yet, so they have drones with guns on them. I've seen people that actually had that. I have seen that, but again, you got to realize the majority of the problem is going to be in population centers. All right. They're going to need, and I say they, who are they? The powers that be, the people that want to be in charge and in control, they need to control the population centers before they ever think about coming out to the country. Okay. Will the country be a target down the road? Absolutely, it will be a target down the road. But they're going to have to control the cities before they can control the country. And in that time period between controlling the cities, you're giving those people in the country enough time to dig in and to prepare and be ready for that. So that's just something to think about as well. Any update on the hoodies? You know what, there's something that I haven't gotten to yet that I absolutely need to get to. There's a couple of other things going on. So, that's a couple other things going on. So we'll deal with that. It's all going to take time. All of it's going to take time. But, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this at this point, and then we still have some more time afterwards. But again, we're at 409 on the thumbs up. Let's see if we can jump that up to 500 or 450. I'm sorry, 450 is a goal. We'll see if we can get it to 450 before the show ends. But we are legion, guys, because there's so many of us. We're all over the country. We're all over the world. Okay, and so there's so many of us all over the place, and we're this huge family. And when the time comes, and even before the time comes, with connecting with like-minded people, it's a smart thing to do. Getting ready, being prepared, it's just a smart thing to do. So where's everybody from tonight? And so go ahead and put that out there. We got Ohio. Yeah, Mr. Rose, if you would get rid of Tony with his comments, he is a troll. Get him out of here, please. We got Oregon, Montreal, Canada, New York, Chicagoland. Well, now they're flying by. Illinois, Texas, South Jersey, Prince George, BC, Canada. Very nice. Minnesota, England, Texas, Alabama, Florida, New Zealand, Northwest Missouri, BC, Canada, North Central Arkansas, Virginia. We have Michigan, Joliet, Illinois, New Zealand again, Illinois, Western West Virginia, Wisconsin, Leesburg, Texas, South Florida, Central Indiana, Colorado, Southwest Virginia. We have Waterloo, New York, the Netherlands, Arkansas. We have Sydney, very nice. Michigan, Massachusetts, South Australia, New Jersey, the Catskills in New York, Maryland, Motherwell, Scotland, very cool. Grand Rapids, Michigan, Idaho, Alaska, Pennsylvania, northern Maine, Washington. We have Nashville, Tennessee, Kentucky, Foley, Alabama, Texas, Southern Oregon, Bristow, West Virginia, Union City, Pennsylvania. So, guys, we're all over. We're all over the country. We're all over the world. We are this huge, huge family of people. There's no stopping us if we work together. There really isn't. And like I said, if we ever really truly got organized and did things in an organized fashion, there's nothing could stop us from getting anything done. Oh, Hendersonville, North Carolina. Hey, Tina, I used to live right down in that area, so I know exactly where you are. So, very cool. Northern Utah. Peoria, Illinois. Richard Pryor's prior hometown. I like that. That's actually pretty funny. So, Hamilton, New York. Southern Oregon. Sorry, I'm just looking at all these more coming up. South Carolina. So, but yeah, we're all over the place, guys. We really are. And I'm telling you, there's so many more of us that you'll have no idea that are out there. There's a lot of preppers out there. There's a lot of people getting ready. A lot of them are scared. So they're going to be really, really low key. And, and that's what they do, And then you have your people that really have the money that have put bunkers in all over the place and stuff like that. So that happens as well. Guys, if you are not subscribed to the channel, if you would like to do that, please do so. Make sure you hit that bell icon also to get notifications, just so that you get all of those as well. I'm going to ask one more time here for a thumbs up. We are at 418, 420 now. So we're 30 away. Let's see if we can get that 450. That would be cool. I don't know, just a number, I know, but it would be neat. So if you haven't done the thumbs up yet, I would appreciate it if you would do that. So, but low key is not bad. George, low key is not bad, and it's not a bad thing to do. But, connecting with the right people too is also a smart thing to do. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of preppers out there. They really, really are. So, just be smart about it. That's all. And like I said, you're going to have to vet people. You're going to have to. Do I want this person in my group or do I not want that person in my group? Is this somebody that I want to hang out with or associate with? You have to make those decisions as well. So that's important. because you don't want the wrong type of person in a post event, because that could really truly disrupt your group. Really, really could. So let's hope we never have to deploy our preps in SHTF. You're right. You know what? I hope it never happens. I'll be honest with you. That's my hope. I hope I'm just a crazy guy that lives up in the hills, that's prepped forever and dies of old age, and nothing ever happens. That would be ideal for me, because then I know, that even though I prepared and nothing happened in my lifetime, at least there's things there for my kids if something happens in their lifetime. Now, do I believe that that's going to be the case? No. I think within less than 10 years, probably less than 5 years, something major will happen one way or the other. And, and as they say, all hell will break loose at that point in time. So that's what I think. And it might not even be that long. So any day that we get to prep and get ready is a good day. And that's kind of the way I look at it. So what are we at? 4:39. Oh, we're 11 away, guys. We're 11 away. So anyway, guys, I am going to end this now. So again, if you haven't shot me that thumbs up, if you would do that, let's see if we can get that to 450 before I jump off of here. I appreciate all you guys. I really, truly do. I appreciate the support. Thank you for joining me for the live streams. Thank you to my moderators that come in and stay on top of stuff and make sure that the chat is clean. I appreciate that as well. Remember, guys, we are all in this together, and I really, truly mean that. We really, truly are. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really, really important that we tell everybody that we care about every single day how we feel. And we did. We had it. We had 453. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It was just a number to shoot for. We haven't had 453 in a live chat for a while as far as thumbs up. We've hit 400 a couple times, but it's been a while since we've been that high. So we had a good crowd tonight. Also, remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only one that can stop you from getting there is you. Nobody else can stop you. So stay positive, stay away from that negativity, and you will be fine, okay? I will talk to you all later. I hope everybody has a great night. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.